ground at Lancaster Park runs north and south. New Zealand are going to the southern end in the all black. From the northern end, South Africa in the dark shirts with the white shorts. New Zealand will have the advantage of the southerly breeze and any showers we might have. Williman. An unusual happening in any match. New Zealand's left wing three-quarter, Dick. He'll throw into the first line out of the match. Marking him is Engelbrecht, the South African three-quarter. Dick wearing the 13 jersey. Tremaine, number 7. Dennis Young.
Well, there it is again. New Zealand start this match the way that South Africa should have started it. Everything in, on attack in the first few moments, and Tremaine around the back of that line out for the play that developed across with hardly a hand laid on him.
Kick flagged away. New Zealand 3, South Africa 0. The ball hitting the upright and then a try coming so quickly, the test off to a sensational start. Touch judge, Mr. A.R. Taylor, one of the Canterbury representative referees. Barnard, Rue, Gainsford, Engelbrecht, Barnard. South African touch judge, T.P. Bedford. Dick. Number 5, New Zealand, Stan Meads. Number 6, Colin Meads. De Villiers. 2 number 9s, both halfbacks, Laidlaw, De Villiers. Hopwood, number 8, breaking. Mahor, 8. Dick, 13.
Redeem themselves after the Dunedin test.
Play on the New Zealand 25. New Zealand number 3, Winneray. Number 6, South Africa, Ellis. De Villiers. Hopwood, De Villiers, Dick, South Africa, number 1, on sale, on the New Zealand line. Western touch at the embankment side of the field, De Villiers. Barnard.
Well, what a brilliant try. Gainsford taking the ball, starting from a standing still, cut past at least 5 men to dive over the line to score a brilliant try for South Africa.
South Africa 3, New Zealand 3. Now this shot by Nordia just inside the 25 and about 15 yards to the right of the post. The wind will be across the flight of the ball. It will tend to blow it away from the posts. It's a goal, and South Africa hit the front, 5-3. Nordia claims the fair catch. On the mark, McLeod.
I feel already that we can see there's far more spirit in this game. This is one of the criticisms of the first two tests, lack of spirit, but today that criticism doesn't hold at all.
De Villiers charged down by Gray. Play South Africa's 10-yard mark. Western touch. Laidlaw offside, number 9. Barnard. Rue up quickly. Laidlaw play. L charges down. Dick. And Hopwood for South Africa puts the touch. 8 yards outside South Africa, outside New Zealand 25. South Africa calling the tune. Rangi. Short whistle and Brainard. Number 15, Wilson.
Both teams are handling this ball today as if the field was dry and as if the ball was dry. It's a credit to both teams the way that they are playing attacking rugby.
A quick throw in. Laidlaw. Bird off. Norton. Bird whistle from the blind side. Play just short of the South African post by about 8 yards. Almost in front. A good attacking position from the New Zealand point of view. Laidlaw. Villiers. Wilson. This kicks 5 yards inside South Africa's 25, Western touch. South Africa leading 5-3. Dick. Stan Meads. Lahore. Tackled by Ellis. Engelbrekt. Ellis and Sale in support, number 1. Dick. The line is The white line you can see is the South African goal line, hence the dive by Lahore. Play just a few yards out from the South African line, western side of the field. Laidlaw. De Villiers.
New Zealand seemed to be using this long throw-in a lot today. They had a lot of success with this at Dunedin.
Wilson. Willamant. Dick. To front of the line out, both hookers, Walton and McLeod. Conway. Laidlaw. Nordia, number 5. Midway, 25 and halfway, South Africa, western touch. Engelbrecht. Stan Mead's coming through for New Zealand, number 5. New Zealand line out. Has McLeod at front and Gray at 2. Willamant. A long kick, but this one's in range. You can see the 10-yard mark, the broken line across the field. He's just outside that, well on the western side of the field.
Willamant is a very good kicker. He has a classical style, and perhaps he's not quite as good as Don Clark, but he can still kick goals easily from this distance, especially with this strong southwesterly breeze.
Drop out from the 25. South Africa leading, 5 points to 3. And Barnard, a quick kick, switches play. Ten-yard mark, South Africa, western touch. Engelbrecht. Japria wearing the headband. De Villiers. Willamant outside his 25. 8 yards now inside South Africa's half. Western touch. Engelbrecht. Japria wearing that headband. Now with his sleeves rolled up. Walton at the front of the line out, new man in the test side, replacing Milan as hooker. Nordia at 2 in the line out. In practice, Nordia changed between the second position and the third position in the line out. He's at 2 now. De Villiers caught by Conway. Play just outside South Africa's 25 on the western side. Tight hit New Zealand. Laidlaw.
Once or twice in the last few line-ups, the ball has been tapped back to De Villiers, and the New Zealand forwards are pouring through. He won't want this.
De Villiers under pressure. Now the line, you can see, is the South African 25-yard line. They play about 20 yards from the South African line. Engelbrecht, number 13. This is the Wilson, the South African fullback who played such a tremendous game in the second test. Laidlaw. Almost on the halfway mark. down by Nell. Rue, number 12. Bert Whistle, number 14. The two 14s there, Bert Whistle and Brainard. Play in progress about 15 minutes. South Africa lead by 5 points to 3. Bert Whistle. Laidlaw. Willamette wins the race. The South African pursuing Willamette, Ellis, probably their fastest forward. Willamette out to the 25. On the mark, Walton and Hopwood. Racing back to save after Conway's kick had been charged down. 5-yard scrum. Good attacking position for South Africa here. The advantage of the loose head. And the drop kick is on. No, Barnard's kick wide. I noticed to practice Barnard was practicing that drop.
I notice that this ground is drying out all the time. Although there's a big muddy patch in the centre, at this end now the ground looks in good condition.
Lahore, New Zealand. Play just outside New Zealand's 25 on the eastern touch. Villiers, the South African captain. Play. Ellis, number 6. Would be dangerous. Play now about 10 yards from the New Zealand line over on the eastern side of the field. South African forward showing a lot more fire than I've seen them in any game so far on the tour. Villiers. Barnard. Rue. Engelbrecht. Tackled by Willamette. Rue. South Africa very much in this game. Up 5-3 and having more than their share of the game. Laidlaw. Nothing for the defensive penalty. Murdoch speculates. And when you saw Rue slip with that speculator, that gives you an idea just how slippery the surface is. The ground is much better than we had expected, but the surface can be a little bit treacherous in parts.
The referee is having a little bit of leg trouble again. However, there we had South Africa putting in some very good work indeed, forcing the way up very close to New Zealand's line, and then one fly kick by New Zealand, and back we go to halfway. Of course, with this wind behind the kick, it carries yards and yards, and all of that work was wasted.
On the halfway mark, New Zealand, Laidlaw. Fullback Wilson. What a wonderful fullback this chap is. Back to the halfway mark. One of the touch judges today on the far side, Mr. A.R. Taylor, is a top Canterbury referee. Just in case Mr. Murphy has more trouble with his leg, he's able to take over. Rangi. Freer charges him. Ten yards now, outside South Africa 25. Western touch. Dan Meads with the fair hair, sleeves rolled up. So is Conway, so is McLeod. So 3 fair hairs there, all with sleeves up. Remains on this flank for New Zealand, nearest to the cameras. Laidlaw picked up by Dick from the blind side wing. Ellis first there for South Africa. Very close. We'll have to wait for the referee for that one.
Well, Wilson waited for the bounce there, and it didn't bounce the way he expected at all on this very wet ground, the wet in-goal area. It almost stopped dead, and New Zealand following up very fast got their hands to it first, much to the disappointment of Wilson.
Now that was New Zealand in front 6-5. From our distance, it was just impossible. We just had to wait for the referee. There were players there on the ground, as you could see, reaching out for that ball. It was quite elusive, but it was a matter of the man on the spot making the decision. Now Williman to kick. And it's a goal. New Zealand take the lead again at 8-5. Back to the halfway mark, and I think play's going to be held up for a moment or two. At the moment, there's all sorts of speculation going on around the ground as to who actually scored the try. There were several people who had a go at the ball. The referee's calling it, the referee's retiring. And this would be unprecedented. Mr. A.R. Taylor of Christchurch was taking over. We saw Mr. Murphy call the two captains together and felt, well, something was going on, and obviously he couldn't continue. And Mr. A.R. Taylor has taken, and Mr. Merv Barnett has taken the touch judge's flag. Another representative referee on the line, so they still have a spare referee on the sideline. Another of Canterbury's representative panel. Winneray has claimed the fair catch. 22 minutes gone and New Zealand up by 8 points to 5. Nell caught in possession on his own 25. Mr. Taylor must be feeling a little bit strange to be pitched forward into a game in this fashion, taken over control. Scrum, and the South African 25. Conway number 4, he's been stopped in there by Walton. Right down to the South African line, back we come. About 10 yards short of the line on the western side of the field. Still a lot of speculation regarding that last New Zealand try. Quite a few think it's Rangi who scored it, but we've written down Rangi. South Africa on their own line. Barnard, the clearing kick. Bird whistle with it coming. Now you see the new touch judge, Mr. M. Barnett. Winneray. Gaines. Bird whistle. Walton across there, so is Gainsford. Play just outside South Africa's 25. New Zealand with the advantage of the breeze this spell, although it has dropped quite a lot since the game started. Brainart, Colin Meads, Laidlaw, Murdoch, Morton. Nell brought to the ground. Morton kicks to touch. 10 yards outside South Africa's 25. Western touch. New Zealand 8, South Africa 5. Still anybody's game. Bright sunshine bathing the ground now. Dufria De Villiers, Barnard, Gainsford, Rue, Brainard, caught by Birtwistle. Colin Meads, Lahore. Right number of the players with a coating of mud. It's just unfortunate they get into some of those worst patches on the field. De Villiers, Barnard. Now there's the halfway mark, and play to resume just inside New Zealand's half. New Zealand to the right of your screens, in the all dark uniform, South Africa with the white short. Almost the 10-yard mark, South Africa. Broken line right across the field. Lineout's very bunched. New Zealand 8, South Africa 5. The cloud breaking very quickly from the front of that line out. A penalty against South Africa from that line out. While it's a long one, it's very much in Williman's range.
One of the South African loose forwards that's impressed again today is Ellis. Ellis comes from Windhoek, which is way up in southwest Africa, hundreds of miles from anywhere it seems, and for him to be able to reach this standard is remarkable. Gives great credit to him.
Now Williman's kicking from the 10-yard mark, well over on the far side of the field, about 55 yards.
That was a remarkable kick because the ball is getting heavy. It was across the wind, but it sneaked over the bar to give New Zealand another 3 points.
New Zealand 11, South Africa 5. Barnard the kicker. De Villiers caught on the halfway mark. Off the Birtwistle. Now South Africa had that lead at 5-3. New Zealand came back to 8-5 and now have widened it to 11-5. And in the test match, 6 points. A big margin to pick up. Brainard. Villiers. Caught by Gray. Halfway mark. New number 3 stand behind the players. Stan Meads, Villiers, takes the could be a dangerous one. Engelbrecht moves in from his right wing to cover. The ball could have bounced very awkwardly indeed. South African 25, Birtwistle. Indecisive, nobody can handle it. 25-yard mark, South Africa. Eastern touch. De Villiers. New Zealand 11, South Africa 5, with play going about 27 minutes. 10-yard mark, South Africa. Villiers taking the ball. 5 yards outside South Africa's 25. Conway, McLeod. Now plays a very lively game from the front of those lineouts. He breaks very quickly indeed. Brainard, 8 yards from South Africa's corner flag. Now 10 yards from the corner flag. Brainard. New Zealand 11, South Africa 5. Murray. Morton. Freer, man with the headband, the only player with headband on today. Defensive situation right on the South African line. A tight head to New Zealand here could be invaluable. No. It's coming through on the New Zealand side, but the whistle had gone. Everybody's very tense here. South Africa need this heel very badly indeed. Trying to clear to the open, and they're caught in front of their own posts. South Africa still desperately pinned down beside their own posts. They need the heel badly. And this time, New Zealand have the loose head. They have the advantage of the heel. Laidlaw. Morton. Williman. Pull back. Right beside the corner flag. That was close. South Africa rather desperate here. No, back for a knock-on. 5 yards out from the line. Wilson clearing for South Africa. Almost to the 25. Desperate situation to be down on your own line with the pressure being applied. The Hort-Tremaine combination. Transfer was obviously forward. Barnard caught. Conway makes a bid. Laidlaw makes a bid. You might as well have had a brick wall there. That's how much chance he had of getting through there. The Greens were around very quickly, and once again, the Greens back on their own line. Right. Desperate defence needed here. New Zealand leading 11 points to 5 and half-time in about 10 minutes. About 30 minutes gone in the spell. A tight head, New Zealand. Murdoch, Morton, Rangi. Typical New Zealand rucking that time. Murdoch, Morton. Williman's up. Can't capitalise on it. That ruck that you saw, that was how the New Zealanders were going at practice on Thursday. They were just going into everything. 15 yards from the corner flag it would be now. De Villiers. Murdoch. Morton going for the corner. There it is.
Well, that was a copybook try. The ruck developed, the ball came back beautifully, a very hard ruck. The ball was swung out onto the blind side. Morton took the gap beautifully and dived over in the mud to score another try for New Zealand.
New Zealand 14, South Africa 5, and South Africa very much in the picture in the early part of the game, but New Zealand coming back in the closing stages of this half, and they're out now with a 9-point lead, and they have the pressure on South Africa. Williman is kicking from the 25-yard mark. He's well over on the far side of the field, about 5 yards in from the touch. That's the eastern touch, and the ball will go towards the post with the wind assisting across the flight. A grand conversion by Williman. 2 very good goals. He's kicked that penalty a few minutes ago, 55 yards, and now about a 40-yard conversion. New Zealand 16, South Africa 5.
When Dr. Craven saw a move similar to the one that was used for that try in the training run, he said nothing has changed in New Zealand. Well, perhaps New Zealand was very glad of that.
Yes, that was typical New Zealand play. We certainly had practice playing that way, and it came off. Now, a mark playing from the kick-off. Ken Gray it is. New Zealand's prop. Just over the halfway mark, just inside South African territory. Number 3 stand as a backdrop. Charlie Buckley, New Zealand's masseur, standing almost on the halfway mark. Laidlaw. Brainard, left wing. Nordia. As the game goes on, the ground is improving. That gives you some idea of what it was like earlier in the day. De Villiers, Brainard from the blindside wing. Willemant, trails together. That's a remarkable kick because Willemant was off balance really when he made it, and I thought he had miskicked it. The ball bouncing along the ground, didn't have a great deal of height, and finally takes play almost down to South Africa's 25. It's about 8 yards outside the 25 now. Engelbrecht. Dupria. Nil. One way for New Zealand with McLeod, number 2. De Villiers, like an India rubber man, just bounces up again. New Zealand 16, South Africa 5. Half-time coming up in about 6 minutes. We're keeping our own time because we're not on a very good angle to see the official clock. So we may vary a little bit from the officials, but it'll be fairly near. Third whistle. The halfway mark. Rangi. New Zealand 25 now visible. And already some of the numbers becoming almost completely blotted out. Some completely blotted out, some almost. And the official time shows 3 minutes to go. Engelbrecht. Knock on, save the day there for New Zealand inside, just outside the 25 it is by the time we get resort play. There's the 25-yard mark, New Zealand. New Zealand ball well over on the western side of the field. Tremaine, number 7. Engelbrecht from the blindside wing. Linked up with Nordia. Nordia is number 5. Scarcely read his number, the tallest man in the South African team. And he was stopped only short of the line. Mr. Taylor signal to stop the clock.
It's very obvious that when South Africa get anywhere near the New Zealand line, that they're prepared to throw the ball around in any way they can if they think they're going to get the points. Earlier on in the game we saw a backhanded, underhanded pass, and then we saw Engelbrecht hook to the outside and pass an almost basketball pass to Nordia. Nordia scored a try in that same spot as he tried then in the game against the junior New Zealand side.
15 yards out from New Zealand line. And here's a chance for South Africa. Their kicking hasn't been strong on tour, but for a test match this one is well within range. Number 5, Nordia, is on the 25-yard mark. See it just behind him, he'd be about a yard inside of it, and 15 yards in from the touch. The wind will be right across the flight of the ball and will actually blow it away from the post.
Nordia is trying to tee this ball up on the ground. Now it's interesting that in South Africa where the grounds are so hard, they build up the ball on mounds of wet sand, Obviously, it's not needed here today, and Nordia is gathering up this mud into a pile to set the ball up much higher than perhaps the New Zealand kickers would set the ball up.
The referee, Mr. A.R. Taylor, Christchurch. Laidlaw. Reynard had that kick covered, but South Africa back with an intelligent kick right into a good attacking position, 15 yards from New Zealand's corner flag. Eastern touch. Scrum from the line out, and New Zealand up 16-5 in the first spell. They've had the advantage of the wind. There hasn't been any rain during the spell. New Zealand all black, South Africa with the white shorts. Lahore, number 8, diving on the ball from New Zealand. New Zealand welcome this penalty because they're in a defensive situation not far out from their own line. Fullback Willamant. Talented player, good kicker with either foot, and with his left foot this time gains a big stretch of territory, taking play right up to the halfway mark. Conway. A knock on. Conway looks almost out of place. No, it's a penalty and a tap kick. Garner to Roo. Engelbrecken from the wing. Ellis. Upward. Oh dear. Upward again. Caught by Lahore. Walton. Scrum after all that. I was about to say that Conway looks almost out of place amongst the forwards out there. He's so small in comparison with the others. New Zealand 16, South Africa 5. Half-time score, New Zealand 16, South Africa 5. And for the second half, South Africa from the southern end, with the wind behind them, New Zealand playing from the northern end. New Zealand on the left of the screen, all dark, Willamette number 15. South Africa in the white shorts, Japria number 4 with the headband. This kick in range, there's the 25-yard mark. Beside the ambulance men, you can see the flag. Nordia the kicker, and he's well on the far side, the eastern side, about 15 yards in. The wind will assist him across the flight of the ball.
New Zealand built up a lead of 11 points in that first half with the wind behind them, and South Africa will need to kick all of these chances if they're to whittle the score down and get into the lead.
Nordia commences his run from a very muddy patch indeed. Off out at the 25. South Africa badly need these points. The early stages of the game, when they had that lead at 5-3, they were very much in the picture, but gradually New Zealand went on top over the second part of the first half. Willamette dropping out at the 25. Hopwood on the mark with Walton. Japria in support with Nordia. Bedford with the flag up. Bedford is the injured member of the party who won't play again. He's touch judge for the remainder of the tour. Japria. Play now 10 yards inside New Zealand's 25, giving South Africa a good attacking position here. Engelbrecht, right winger. Hoppard was number 8 there, but a South Africa loser, Morton speculates. There's been a knock-on. Play still in New Zealand 25. About 15 yards out from their line. De Villiers. A little bit slippery. Move. And upwind. And Brainard touches down.
Well, I think De Villiers fooled everyone there. He looked as if he was about to pass. Whether he intended to or not, I don't know. And then changed his mind and ran across the field, passing out to his backs. They passed through beautifully out to the wing to Reinhardt, who scored that try. And so South Africa have whittled this score down a little.
(16-8). A long kick for Nordea, only about 5 yards in from touch. The line in front of him is the 25-yard mark. But with the southwester blowing from corner to corner, he has a direct back wind. Once again, the kick reasonably close, but not close enough. 16-8 New Zealand. Four and a half minutes gone in the spell. Williman. Nell. Ellis it was who claimed the fair catch. The referee seemed to be a little bit slow with his whistle that time. Play just outside South Africa's 25. From the scrum, a penalty New Zealand. And in range, just outside the 25, Williman coming up. He's moved back a wee bit and would be about 8 yards outside the 25, well on the far side of the field, about 8 yards in from the touch, and he has a direct head wind. Yeah, but he's in grand kicking form today. The wind put pay to any chance Williman had that time, but it was well on the way, and then you could see it hang in the air and drop for Wilson to get the clearing kick away, just outside 25 South Africa. Dick. Meads. Stan Meads. Laidlaw. Wind brings the ball back again. Laidlaw again. Inside South Africa's 25. On the right of the screen, you could see the corner flag. Laidlaw, Murdoch, Morton, running. Caught on the 25. Ellis with the ball. De Villiers. Wilson moves up from fullback to clear. Halfway mark now visible. New Zealand with this lead, 16-8, keep fending South Africa back. South Africa on the right, with the light shorts, have the wind behind them in the spell. Nordia was in there for South Africa. He'd be the tallest forward on the field, but he wasn't able to do anything with it. De Villiers. Brilliant sliding take by Williams. And for a brilliant take like that, a well-deserved round of applause. The crowd really appreciate football of that quality. Murdoch, number 10, Rue, number 12. Bounces to Laidlaw, Dupree with the headgear, Nell doing the tackle, Tremaine running. A very awkward one for Wilson. He's almost in trouble. Hurt whistle it was, coming through at speed. Inside South Africa's 25.
New Zealand had a big advantage at the front and the back of the line-out. Conway and McLeod are bursting through there, and this is one of the, with the number of line-outs that are in the game, this gives New Zealand a big advantage.
New Zealand have that ball trapped. They're holding it. Laidlaw to Murdoch. To Morton, and there's a drop. There'll be a race for the ball, but South Africa, of course, Engelbrecht comes back ahead of Wilson. In the first spell, the line-outs were fairly even. Actually, South Africa took 12 to New Zealand's 11. Barnard to drop out, McLeod on the mark. South Africa from the right, white shorts. Murdoch for New Zealand. 10 yards inside South Africa's half. 16-8 to New Zealand. Going 10 minutes in the second spell. Barnard. It's a well-placed kick, giving South Africa a good position now. They can win this line out. They're 10 yards outside New Zealand's 25. New Zealand win it. Tremaine puts it back. And then New Zealand, once again, working their way back towards South African territory. We're going to soon, if New Zealand win this line out, they'll send it over the halfway mark. New Zealand 16, South Africa 8. McLeod catches De Villiers. McLeod very lively from the front of those line-outs. De Villiers probably wishes he'd never seen McLeod, because he certainly gives him a torrid time. New Zealand have it. Tremaine into the line-out. Play still on the halfway mark. Barnard. This could be awkward. Picked up by Rude, beautifully, to the 25. The Engelbrecht will make a bid. My word, that was close. Over that corner flag, my word. After a brilliant pick-up by Rue, that certainly deserved a try. Right down on the New Zealand line. Everybody's hands up except the referees. Here's the one that counts. 5-yard scrum. South Africa playing like men possessed here. This is giving them a new lease of life. Down 16-8. Laidlaw clearing for New Zealand. But there's been a knock on. Play still only a few yards from the New Zealand line. South Africa with the advantage, putting the ball in. De Villiers is working Gainsford. Ellis in support, but the movement's breaking down. De Villiers restarting play. Barnard running strongly. Oh, gracious me, just a moment. Yes, it's a try. I thought for the moment the South African was going to be kept in midair. It was Brainard who came in from that left wing.
Brainard finished that try off with a magnificent dive that would have done credit to an Olympic diving champion. He propped for this, stepped inside, and then over the top to score for South Africa.
Nell from an easy, Nordier from an easy position. He's kicked it. Nordier has kicked the goal. Takes South Africa to 13, 16-13, and that's not a very big gap. New Zealand 16, South Africa 13. Now, we almost lost Brainard when he scored that try. His number has been completely blotted out. We couldn't pick him up from his number. We had to pick him up from the position he came in from the left wing. So he's had 2 tries in a row in the spell, one at 4 minutes and then again at 14 minutes. South Africa very much back in the picture now. Tremaine gathers for New Zealand. Will play down towards South Africa's 25. 5 yards outside the 25 and grandstand or eastern touch. Dick for New Zealand, 16-13 it is. South Africa, De Villiers, Barnard. South Africa over the last few minutes playing like men possessed once again. Just inside the halfway mark. Dupree in number 4 for South Africa. MacDonald, number 3 South Africa. (16-13) to New Zealand. Just inside South Africa's half. Gainsford caught, but Ellis. My word, the South African forwards are going into the rucks with a vim and vigour at the moment. Narrowed this gap to 16-13. New Zealand were at 16-5 at one stage and looked as if they had the game well and truly won. But South Africa back in the picture now. Ellis it was who kicked ahead for South Africa. Play now midway, 25 and halfway, New Zealand. Dupree, just inside South Africa's half. New Zealand trying to send South Africa back again with these little kicks. Laidlaw. Brainard. Oh, a grand save. My word, he was in trouble. Brainard having a wonderful match. 2 good tries and now getting his side out of trouble with that good piece of play. Dan Mead gets it back to Murdoch. And this kick. Midway, 25 and halfway, South Africa. Western touch. Brainard. MacDonald at 2, mistimed his jump there. Rue kicks ahead. That's the New Zealand 25-yard flag to the left. The line out about 10 yards outside the 25. Dick. Dupree battles with Stan Meads. Tremaine has for New Zealand. Handling in the ruck. That one was very evident. And the big man, Nordea, who has kicked one goal in this half and one in the first half. 2 conversions so far from Nordea. Dennis Young.
I thought the crowd were a little bit unfair to Murdoch before when he kicked to the line. It's all very well calling on a first 5'8" to pass the ball out to his outsides, but he must be in a position to give the ball so that something can be done with it. Outside of Murdoch, then obviously the South Africans were right up on top of our second 5'8", and it would have been just murder to have passed the ball on. He kicked to the line, but in doing the right thing earned the displeasure of the crowd.
Nordea, liberally coated with mud, moves back, long kick, 8 yards outside the 25, a similar distance from touch. Wind across the flight of the ball will help it towards the posts. Oh, bad luck, hit the upright. That was very, very close. It would be Nordea's best kick today. Play, 10 yards from New Zealand's corner flag. Lahore for New Zealand. Morton. There's a drop for goal. Brainard it was. Dead ball, drop out 25. Well, South Africa back in the picture now. New Zealand leading 16-13. And time off for an injury. And that was a very quick one. We're off again. Mr. Taylor signals with the timekeeper to restart that clock. 16-13 to New Zealand. Halfway through the spell. Just outside New Zealand 25. South Africa very much back in this game at this stage. And Meads and Dupree are having a tremendous battle in there. That's very quick. A man completely off his feet to do that. Very handy to have a big forward to dry your hands onto. Tom Bedford with his flag up. South Africa were in white shorts, but some of them are almost the same colour as the New Zealand shorts now. South Africa from our right. New Zealand 16, South Africa 13. Murdoch. An awkward one. Brainard with it covered. Williman just outside his 25. Just inside the South African half. To the left of the touch judge is the halfway line, right across the field. Nordea playing it too. Meads tackles. Rangi comes back to cover. South Africa still very much in this game. New Zealand with that 16-13 lead. South Africa have rallied tremendously in the second spell. Brainard. Just have to wait for that one. He was kicking for the corner flag, but evidently it went into touch and goal and a drop out of 25. And from the way the crowd roared, I thought for the moment he'd found touch right by the flag. I couldn't pick it up from here. The referee signals drop out 25. Williman kicking. And for the first time in the match, we've seen a kick go out on the full and come back for the scrum. Two hookers ready, McLeod and Walton. Hopwood still standing at the back of the South Africa scrum, and he goes. De Villiers. Good heel by Walton. Woo! Rainsford, number 11. Oh, he's a strong runner, this man. That's a good try. Rainsford, number 11, scored the try after a very good run to even the score at 16 all.
This is the man they call the best centre in the world, and we saw a glimpse then of why he got this reputation. When he had the ball in hand, he just steamed through, fought his way through to dive over in the corner.
Now this is a long kick, but Nordia appears to be kicking well as he's done on tour. Probably isn't very high praise because he hasn't had a very successful tour as far as kicking is concerned, but some of his kicks today have been fairly close. He's already converted 2 tries, and this is a most important kick. He's well over on the far side of the field, about 5 yards in from touch, just about a yard outside the 25. You can see the 25 flag to the left. The wind will help the ball towards the post. Ball with quite a lot of mud on it, will be heavy. $16 all it is. And 25 minutes gone in the spot. 15 minutes still to go. And South Africa holding New Zealand against all forecasts. Not 10 yards, the non-offending skipper it is, calls for the scrum at the centre. Knock on, scrum. Crowd sensing an upset now, giving the Springboks plenty of encouragement because they're fighting back so magnificently against odds. Both sets forwards poured into that ruck. Play inside the 25-yard mark, South Africa. 16 all it is. 27 minutes gone. New Zealand with the advantage of the loose head. Murdoch. Dick in from blindside wing. Morton takes the tackle. And Willamette kicks. In the first half, the tight heads were New Zealand 3 to South Africa 0. I don't think there've been any in the second spell so far. On the 10-yard mark, South Africa. A magnificent fight back from 16-5 to 16 all. And obviously South Africa aren't done yet. This would be their finest moment of the tour. Play inside New Zealand's half. 5 yards over the line. 16 all with 12 minutes it is to go. 16 all, 12 minutes to go. With a tense situation here now, everything that happens is bringing a roar from the crowd, whether it's minor or whether it's major. Dupree, a beautiful take. The referee's ruling not straight from that line out. Almost on the halfway mark. It's just inside New Zealand's half, the eastern side. Everybody terribly keyed up in there now. No wonder the referee's having trouble getting the scrum to settle down. McLeod getting the heel. Anyway, courageous save that time by Engelbrecht. Number 13 went down on that ball. Something that I understand the South Africans were a little bit reluctant to do in Dunedin with the greasy ball. Time out for injury.
Yes, in Dunedin, that was one of the downfalls of South Africa. They wouldn't go down on this greasy ball that was being kicked through by New Zealand, in particular Conway and McLeod again. Today, they've learnt their lesson. And the difference is it means that instead of going back, the forwards going back to cover up this, they are now going forward.
Engelbrecht set on the 10-yard mark, South Africa. Now the scrum penalty gives Willamette a chance, even with a headwind.
This kick is directly into the southwest wind. Now, if he puts this kick over, it will be remarkable, because the ball must be getting very heavy now, wiping the surface mud off, but the leather itself must have soaked up a lot of water.
And he's checking with Mr. Taylor. And the mark on the 10-yard mark, and 10 yards in from the far touch. About 50 yards, and the southwesterly breeze appears to have freshened once again. Fairly considerable headwind here. Sail racing through for South Africa after a misfield there, and play still in South Africa's 25. Bedford standing right by the 25 flag. Engelbrecht throws in. Gray through quickly on de Villiers. South African halfback under pressure there. He's had a harder time than his opposite number Laidlaw. 16 all it is. Knocking it down Lahore. Winneray it was. Nobody wants it. Lahore dives on the ball. South African forwards come in with great gusto this time. We'll have a set scrum with the score at 16 all and time running out. Only about 10 minutes to go. 16 all it is. Both sides now striving for victory. South Africa looking for the penalty here. They lost possession. Birtwistle had it. The wind bringing that ball back. The up and under was quite a good tactical move, but as the ball went up, we saw the wind bring it back just as the breeze had stopped the kick at goal a few minutes ago. Colin Meads, number 6, gathers. We couldn't call that a ruck. Dupree with that headband, quite distinctive. Those forwards looking very weary at the moment. Laidlaw, Murdoch on the blind side. A nastily placed kick, but my word, a great save by Wilson. He claimed the fair catch. Courageous take. Took the ball, put his heel down and called mark. Under a lot of pressure there. Reports from that test in Dunedin all praise the courage shown by Wilson. Alice standing beside him. Five yards outside South Africa's 25. 16 all and 8 minutes of play left. Third whistle for New Zealand. Tremaine. Laidlaw. This is a good one. 5 yards from the corner flag. New Zealand with the pressure on here at 16 all. Barnard it was, he took South Africa out of trouble there. Williman found the wind a little bit strong when he was kicking back for that corner flag. Morton in trouble. New Zealand had the win in the first half, went out to 16-5, and now South Africa with the wind coming right back into it, 16 all it is. Timeout again for injury. Yes, this time St John ambulance men have been called onto the field. Time to go 7 minutes, 16 all it is.
It looks like Brian Lahore. He appears to have a gash above the eyes. No.
While we're trying to find out just what's going on, the crowd here would be over 55,000. All the grandstand seats are full, and I would say the embankment's very full indeed too.
I think it was McLeod.
He's right. De Villiers to Barnard, and using the wind very intelligently, Barnard sends play almost to the halfway mark. The wind, a big advantage to South Africa now, because when New Zealand come into their half, they just send them back again. Walton catches Laidlaw. Murdoch running to touch. 2 13s there. Engelbrecht and Dick. Play now, 5 yards outside New Zealand's 25. Gray plays halfback. Murdoch. Morton. But there's no mistake about Wilson. He just doesn't miss it. Doesn't get the touch. Williman finds touch. 10-yard mark, New Zealand. Once again, finding that wind quite a hurdle and kicking into it. Reinhardt, who's now numberless, throws in. Conway, no, he's beaten to it by Morton. Speculates ahead, taken by Engelbrecht. Mordeer caught in possession. A good one. It's a good one. 5 yards inside New Zealand's 25 with the score of 16 all. South Africa in a good attacking position. Only about 6 minutes left. McLeod through quickly. But De Villiers gets that ball away to touch. De Villiers limping. He's right, going to play on. New Zealand 25-yard mark. South Africa have it. There's Barnard. South Africa right down towards New Zealand line, and Laidlaw, who comes across, gets the ball to touch in the nick of time. 5 yards from his own corner flag. 16 all. Brainard to throw. Ellis coming through very quickly. Puzzles Laidlaw. Wilson has the ball. Offside. Penalty kick or scrum back. And South Africa have elected to take the penalty kick.
I feel it's unfair to ask a forward to do the kicking. Wilson, the fullback, doesn't do any kicking at all. Nordia, big lock forward, tied up in the scrums, doing a lot of work in the line-outs and running around the field, must be feeling very tired at this moment. And here he is, faced with trying to kick these 3 points, and this could be the last opportunity that South Africa have to win this game. There's a lot resting on his shoulders as he places this ball.
Now he has a direct back wind. He's on the 25-yard mark. You can see it just in front of him, very close to the touch on the western side. Mr. Taylor, the referee, would be standing by the touch line. A back wind. 16 all it is. Well, if ever Nordia wanted to kick a penalty in his life, it was this one. South Africa 19, New Zealand 16 with time running out. 2 minutes to go. Willemant to kick. The crowd here giving the South Africans a very sporting reception. They're recognising that these fellows have fought back against all forecasts, all critics, all odds to take this lead. On the halfway mark, eastern side of the field. 19 to South Africa, 16 New Zealand. Holding that ball in the back, waiting for the penalty, but New Zealand won't oblige. But South Africa do get the penalty right in the centre of the field. And Nordia is going to take a shot.
I wonder if this is a decision. They probably looked at the clock and decided, well, placing the ball is going to take up a bit of time. By the time it takes its attempt, it may be all over.
It's a good tactical move from his point of view.
Very good, very good.
He's in his own half. As you can see the halfway mark now. When Don Clark placed the ball for these, well, we didn't take much notice because that was his normal practice.
If he misses this kick, you can guarantee that New Zealand will try something. They'll be all out to try and get the try, the points that will win this match in the last few seconds.
Inside South Africa's half, almost in the centre of the field. Winneray. Laidlaw. The pressure is on. Winneray at halfback. Orton. Willemant up there. Barnard to touch. And full time it is with South Africa winning by 19 points to 16 after being down 16-5 at half-time. Terrific excitement at Lancaster Park, and congratulations to the South Africans for pulling off a victory against all odds, against all forecasts. The final score, South Africa 19, New Zealand 16.